The 2022 NBA draft just wrapped yesterday, and pretty interesting to say the least. There are definitely some surprises in there. Obviously, guys fall all the time, and picks get traded, every now and then. But definitely some surprises here in the draft. Specifically with the first starting off with the number one pick, Paolo Banchero to the Orlando Magic. Like from months, bro, the consensus projections were he's gonna go to three, and Jabari was, projected first. It's pretty. It's not. It's actually not surprising that he went first because skill wise and talent wise, it felt like he was always the like consensus number one option. But like to Orlando, not specifically, because there were people on commentary during the draft event saying basically, there's like the top three picks are all number one picks, like in terms of like their talent, bro. So like, there's no wrong picks there, but Bonchero definitely like fit wise seemed to be the guy for Houston. But I mean, Jabari Smith, he's a dog too. He can stretch the floor, a pretty good big man. So as a Houston fan, I feel like you can probably elaborate a little more on that selection for your franchise.
Yeah. Obviously, first instincts kind of warmed up to Paulo Banchero becoming a Houston Rocket, but after thinking about it now, I kind of valued offense a little bit too much when thinking about Banchero coming to Houston. And obviously, Banchero was the best player in the draft. We had pick three. Can't get overreacted that we couldn't get him,
Mm-hmm.
but Banchero was a first who I wanted, but seeing as Jabari, what his attitude that he brings to the Houston Rockets, his defense, I think it'll work out for us, especially because of the picks we got later down the line. Fixing our defense, basically, we have a young core that's now good at both offense and defense. So I think it works out for us. I guess it works out for Orlando, sort of, but yeah, I'm not too mad about it now. At the moment, definitely furious because it was for two straight months after the lottery. It was Jabari Smith that was going number one, but
Mm-hmm.
happy to have him aboard now.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, like I said, hopefully it works out in Orlando. With organizations like Orlando and OKC, they're gathering up all their talent, all their picks, and over the course of the next year or a couple of years, there a lot of guys are going to be performing. They're going to be, sticking their necks out essentially to let the organization know, like, I want to be part of this going forward, and they'll have some decisions to make. Definitely, same with the Rockets too. They have a lot of good talent, and they're going to be making decisions, I'd assume, soon. With Jabari coming in and stuff to really just solidify who the next guys for the organizations are going to be. So definitely interesting upside for those three organizations: Orlando, OKC, and the Rizzy Rockets, no doubt.
So, who do you think won the NBA draft?
As I've said before, bro, I feel like OKC has, along with Detroit as well. Obviously Detroit got Ivy and Durin. The fucking Knicks, they're abysmal. They're pretty abysmal. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. They're trying to clear cap for Brunson and whoever else they decide to bring aboard. Detroit, I feel like won the draft too. OKC, obviously, with their slew of first round picks. They got Chet, a couple of Jalen Williams.
A
Fucking
couple of Jalen Williams.
is pretty fucking crazy. Along with Usman Garuba, obviously got drafted by the Knicks and was traded. So yeah, definitely I feel like OKC and Detroit got the dub for the draft, and the Rockets too. Honestly, they got a lot of solid guys. They're gonna, like you said, bolster up that defense and help them out a lot.
So you feel as though Oklahoma won, or there's multiple winners? That's
There's
what you
there's
feel.
there's definitely multiple winners, but like the consensus three are like the teams with like majority of the picks, being the Rockets,
Detroit.
OKC, and Detroit.
I think Detroit definitely won this draft, and the reason for this is they got the number four prospect at number five, and then they just got Jalen Duren basically for nothing.
For nothing,
They
dude.
just fleeced.
That's
They got
crazy.
it for nothing. I think there is probably multiple winners. Oklahoma definitely likes what they got, and who do you think the losers are?
I probably have to go with the Knicks. Because like
The
literally,
Knicks. Do you think the Knicks lost the draft?
I really do think so. Like obviously, like I said, I get what they're doing with the whole, just drafting like trading their picks away, clear up cap space for Jalen Brunson to sign. And a lot of people don't view Brunson as like a number one option. He can become that for sure, but I see him more as like a second option or a two or three. And you're on a team with Julius Randle, and if he's your number one option, I don't know how that's gonna work out. Obviously, you have R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel quickly. You have like young guys you can really build around, like Brunson, Barrett, and Julius Randle. It don't really sound too enticing to me. Obviously, they might do more than that, but uh, it doesn't look very appealing to me. So I'm gonna have to go with the Knicks as like the losers of the draft.
The Knicks lost the draft. I
Big
agree with you
surprise. What the
100%.
fuck? The Knicks.
100%, I agree with you, and the reason for this is because this draft had a lot of talent in it, and they completely traded their picks. I don't know what it was for. Maybe they feel like they have so many guys to develop, but if I'm not mistaken, they could have just got Jalen Duren right now, and they're already having trouble bringing back Mitchell Robinson, and they don't have a clear big man yet. So I don't know why they wouldn't just take that pick, but if, we'll see how it pans out. But currently, the Knicks lost the draft, and that's by a long shot.
Shaden Sharp to the Portland
Mm.
Trailblazers. I feel like that's going to be pretty interesting. Dame was pretty high on him. I remember you telling me how he fucked with him and fucked with his game and shit like that. So that'll be interesting to see. What do you think that they're going to do, like roster wise? Obviously, it's like, I don't know if it's too soon to ask or not, but Dame is probably going to be back with them. They have Anthony Simons going for. They just traded for Jeremy Grant. They still have Josh Hart if he doesn't go sign somewhere else. Nurkic is still there, and a lot of other young guys. What do you think the next steps for that organization is?
You've got to move Dame because I don't think they're gonna be able, like, looking at this free agency class and looking at their assets right now. They don't really have that many people under contract. They still have to pay Anthony Simons. I don't think there's a much of a chance that you guys are going to be a contender in this upcoming season, especially in the Western Conference with the pieces that they could possibly get. I think, yeah, you should run it this year. Why not let Dame get one last year? Run it to the deadline if you guys are awful or mediocre. Move on. Move on. I think
Yeah.
Shaden Sharp is a pick that's maybe hinting at. I understand Dame liked him, but he's definitely not the best talent right now. He has to develop, and I don't think Dame has time for him to develop, him and Anthony Simons. And if that's his second and third or second and fourth best player, I don't really think they're contenders like whatsoever. They might win the play-in, maybe depending on what they get in free agency, which I don't think it's going to be much. I think they should move on from Damian Lillard.
Yeah, that really is like the main thing that's kind of not even necessarily holding them back, but just I guess in a sense it is holding them back because it seems like they're trying to go young and have like a reset in their culture and within their team, and it's like you have this point guard at your helm who obviously is the best player on the team and can will your team, past the play in potentially, but it's not going to result in a deep run in the playoffs. So it's just like you're kind of just like you're just scratching at nothing here. You're clawing at
Mediocre.
nothing. Yeah, it's like mediocrity, and you don't want to be like that middle ground team that's like slightly good enough to get into the playoffs, but is not at all good enough to compete in the playoffs. I mean, obviously making the playoffs is the end all be all of everyone's organization, but I mean, if you're just scratching it and just clawing at it, it's like maybe you go full reset. You really do have to go full reset and give Dame a chance to win, bro. He's given his all to the organization, and it'd be a shame to see him not have a chance to compete or not have a chance to win. His best chances, and it's crazy to say best chances. I put that in heavy quotations because his best players at the time were C.J. McCollum and I guess you could say Yusuf Nurkic when he performed, and that's a big win. So definitely move on from Dame. I agree with that. Hopefully Shaden Sharp isn't too much of a risky project and he can ball out there or wherever if he doesn't end up staying there for the remainder of his career. But I mean, I'm happy for him. There was a lot of doubt for sure, but hopefully he can have an explosive year as a rookie. Going over some of these other picks, you got Ben Mathurin going to the Indiana Pacers. I feel like that's pretty interesting. 6'6" athletic wing. I personally I really like Indiana. They're a pretty fun team to me, honestly. Obviously you have Halliburton at the helm of everything, the point guard. Not too sure yet what's going to go down with Brogdon and T.J. Warren and guys like that. But they still have Miles Turner if he doesn't get moved either. There's a lot of question marks, but they have a lot of young, fun guys. They got Lance out there still doing his thing. I feel like this could be a pretty fun team, and this is a pretty fun pick for them, in my opinion.
Definitely a fun organization, a fun rebuild. I mean, it's pretty easy to start your rebuild with Tyrese Halliburton when you completely fleece the fucking Sacramento Kings.
We can't we
And
can't
I think
say we can't say fleece for sure yet. You know, they got Keegan Murray. Maybe they can. I won't say make a run, but maybe they're heading in the right direction finally. Maybe.
it might be a hot take. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is a number one player.
It,
I don't think you can. I don't
it's
think you can win
it like no.
with him being the
If
number one.
you're in Sacramento and like knowing their history
It's
and
definitely
what
easy to say that if he's in Sacramento. I'll give you that, but man,
he
you
hasn't been
have
given the fair opportunity to like show what he can bring to a team because like obviously he's gonna put up his stats and his numbers, but he like any other team, you cannot do that shit alone. And he's been doing it alone his entire NBA career, and he's been in the league what 5 6 years or however many already. So like. I felt like if he was in any other situation, it'd be a different story. De'Aaron Fox is definitely a number one option, like a number one player. It's just having the right pieces around him.
Yeah, I do agree there. They definitely haven't built the greatest teams around him. I feel like De'Aaron Fox has never been gifted with a center who's able to do more than just suck. But Sacramento is Sacramento. I hope they could reculture because it's kind of disappointing for their fans. How many years has it been since they made the playoffs? Like,
15 plus, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Very
they've been in this
unfortunate.
rebuild forever. So I hope they can figure things out.
What, in your honest opinion, is like probably like one of like the best picks that kind of like fell aside from like obviously like the AJ Griffin and shit like that. Like who do you think is like damn how did he fall and that team's gonna utilize that person really good?
Mm. It might be a little bit biased, but obviously Tari Eason,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Ty Ty Washington, um, Jaden Ivey. It's very surprising to me that he fell one spot, but obviously there was turmoil between him and Sacramento, but I felt like there was going to be a trade that was done
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't really make sense to not get assets if you know that's who Detroit wants and your guy's still going to be there maybe at pick 6 or 7. So that's one that would surprise me. Also, second rounders EJ Liddell and Jaden Hardy. I felt like these guys were for sure going to be first round picks.
I agree though, definitely those guys. Yeah, especially like with Jaden Hardy and shit like that. Like seeing him fall and Ty Ty Washington for sure. Those guys are definitely going to be huge for their organizations they got drafted to. Another one I thought was pretty cool was Nikola Jovic to the Miami
Mm.
Heat, and like
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, I wonder how that's going to work out because they seem pretty loaded. Obviously, things might change in the offseason with trades or whatever goes down. It's rumored Donovan Mitchell or Bradley Beal might end up there. But I'm interested to see Jovic get some run. 6'9", 6'10", big with guard ability. He can shoot. His defense is a little bit of a question mark currently, but he's definitely someone that's pretty exciting to watch. And Miami is an interesting fit. So hopefully that can work out for him.
I love the way the last 3 picks went. Well, the last 4, obviously, because
Hmm.
well, no, the before 30, so like 27, 28, 29.
Yeah,
Nikola Jovic goes into a place that is very good at developing talent. I feel like he's one of the best players in the draft, and I felt like he should have went a lot higher, but people are just not so sure on him. I think Miami's going to definitely utilize that
definitely.
star potential that he has, and he's going to become a great player. Same thing with Patrick Bowen Jr., who at his height is a great shooter. I think the Warriors will definitely utilize that. And Ty Ty Washington, very surprising he fell so far. I'm really excited to see what kind of run he gets in the Rockets system.
Hmm.
And obviously playing alongside Jalen Green, he's going to have somebody that he can look over to and give buckets to. I'm happy for these guys to get into better situations than most. Like
Right.
despite what people want to say, if Jaden Ivey went to Sacramento, he would probably not be the same player as he was going to be if he landed where he did land to Detroit.
Exactly, bro. He's in a really good position, with Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey. The rest of the roster is pretty much a big question mark. You still have Isaiah Stewart and Marvin Bagley, and I think Corey Joseph still on the team. Guys like that. I don't know their contract situation or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure some moves are going to be made, especially with them freeing up so much cap. I think they have the most cap currently, or second most, something like that. But I'm interested to see what Detroit does. What if they go at any guys? Aiton is a person that's in a lot of the question. Even Miles Bridges. There's some interesting free agents on the board for Detroit. Detroit, man. Is it crazy to say? play-in run for them next year, or is
I
it too
think
soon?
play-in's definitely not crazy at all. I think they could definitely make the playoffs, make a big move, depending on how their offseason goes with
Hmm.
free agency. Definitely they could make the play-in, the playoffs even. I mean, the Eastern Conference, it's not getting worse, but it's kind of a lot of teams. It's top heavy, so I could definitely see them, depending on the jump that Cade Cunningham takes, and if they do get Aiton and Miles Bridges, definitely top five seed in the Eastern Conference. Do I think they'll win a playoff series? That's a different question.
Mm. Yeah, that's a different question. Definitely, they're definitely going to have some success, a lot more than last season, obviously.
Definitely a fun team too.
For sure, for sure. You know, a lot with these rebuilding teams, it's pretty fun. A lot of them, you know, like I said, Indiana, Rockets, OKC, even Orlando, you know, and they're loaded with talent, but they're also a fun team too.